by St. Barnabas, in addition to 1230 WBVP Beaver Falls.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
The following program is for mature and logical audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Play YMCA. Go ahead. Let's go. Nice and loud. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. You went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. You don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
We finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death. I really don't know what he said at the end of this. I don't think he knows what he said either. I don't know what I said. I don't remember. Let me just say it, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe. So somebody had to do it. I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it. Is that Hillary? Hillary, is that you? Goodbye, Hillary. Bye. Say hello to Bill, Hillary. You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance? Your organization. You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir? Go ahead. Sir, can you state? Can you give us a question? We're not going to give you. I'm not going to give you a question. Can you state? You are fake news, sir. As president-elect, that's not appropriate. Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Turn off the lights. Billions and billions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Thinking Logically. It's your host, Joseph Anthony Corsi, here on TikTok Live, believe it or not, as well. Broadcasting simultaneously on the radio, TikTok, Facebook Live, Beaver County Radio's YouTube pages. I hope that cold open gets you pumped for today's episode, because we have a lot to talk about. Nazi salutes, Senate confirmation votes, executive orders, JFK files being released. There's too much. There's too much going on. We have a lot to get to, like I said today, but before we do anything, Ryan, how are things?
Hey, how you doing, my man? I got to say, Joe, that I came into work today and I thought, you know what, I could deal with politics, but let's get this done. After hearing the YMC, after hearing your excitement, I'm ready to go. I want to know what's going on, and I'm ready, Joe.
You know, I was feeling a little bit under the weather on Monday not Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and I kept on I'd wake up in the morning and I would totally forget. It's a different day. Anything can happen. The lights are on in the White House. 5, 6 a.m. There's someone awake moving around in there. Anything can happen. It's limitless. Anything can happen. Okay, so getting started today, our first topic. What do we call what's been happening? Some people online have been calling it the flood the zone strategy. The point is, the news media doesn't know what to report on. There's too many news stories. This is Blitzkrieg, and it has the news media and the Democrats in just complete disarray. By the way, I'm going to continue to use German references throughout this episode. Sorry, okay? Lots of executive orders and decrees all at once, releasing January 6 prisoners, declaring new names for things that are on maps. It's too much for the news media to report on. They don't know what to focus on. They don't know what story to focus on. And that's an advantage for the Trump administration. Now they might be able to move in silence, as they say, on a few things behind the scenes, while every journalist is focused on stuff like the January 6th prisoner releases. The media can't agree on a story to focus. We saw some of them focused a half a day debating on whether or not Elon Musk made a Nazi salute. My heart goes out to you. Let's talk about that one, actually. Audience. What's more probable? Elon Musk is just a weird and awkward individual that doesn't speak in public or in front of large crowds that often, or Elon Musk is a member of the National Socialist German Workers' Party, also known as being a Nazi. Keep in mind, Democrats were shouting death to Israel on college campuses all summer long.
You can't make this up.
You can't make it up. And now Elon does this and he's a Nazi? My theory? Maybe he did it on purpose. I'm serious. To, quote, flood the zone. You got to remember, the news media, who was just recently sued, I forget which outlet, for $5 million. I think CNN was sued for $5 million recently. They have a choice to make. call Elon a Nazi and pray they don't get sued, or ignore the story. Like Joe Pesci said in Goodfellas, don't make a big thing out of it, Spider. You saw what they chose to call Elon a Nazi. Instead of focusing on a story of substance, they focused a half a day on Elon and what his gesture meant. I'm serious. I watched CNN for over an hour yesterday morning. The cry on CNN was all about January 6th prisoners getting pardoned. And I'm just thinking to myself, in my head, I'm just thinking out loud, hey, was there anyone else pardoned in the last 48 hours that could be a bigger story than these January 6 people? Maybe the people that were investigating them, why were they pardoned? Maybe Joe Biden's family, why were they pardoned? Maybe Dr. Fauci, go on and on. Flood the zone. Then there was the topic of birthright citizenship. Donald Trump ended birthright citizenship. What is birthright citizenship? In a nutshell, that means if an illegal alien has a baby on U.S. soil, the baby's automatically a U.S. citizen. And our news media spent segment after segment of its time telling us why ending birthright citizenship is a bad thing. What they should be reporting on is how the 14th Amendment has been completely misinterpreted since, I don't know, the end of the Civil War. It was originally designed so that runaway slaves would automatically be citizens of a northern state when born and not forced to be returned south. I'm sure the Democrats hated birthright citizenship then. But now when it's being used to replenish the voting base they've been losing, they love it. They absolutely love it. They need it. Now, I'm sure she will be grandfathered in, but does Trump ending birthright citizenship call into question the Democrats' former nominee's citizenship? Remember, Kamala is only a U.S. citizen because of birthright citizenship. Neither of her parents were United States citizens when she was born, but she was born on U.S. soil while her mom was here on vacation, whatever. So she's a U.S. citizen and she can be president of the United States, right? See how dumb birthright citizenship is? This just happened recently. A judge temporarily blocked President Trump's order ending the constitutional guarantee of birthright citizenship. That's from the AP. But remember, guys, unborn babies, they're just a clump of cells. They're not U.S. citizens. Does that make sense, Ryan?
No, it's weird.
Weird to say the least. But for some reason, the media, they're putting in overtime telling us why birthright citizenship is a good thing for this country. And again, you can't trust anything these people report because in the same breath, the New York Times is printing articles telling us why labeling cartels as terrorists could hurt our economy. Am I reading this right? Is CVS and Rite Aid getting the fentanyl from the cartels, Ryan? Am I missing out on this? I'm serious. This is a real article they published yesterday. Headline. I'm going to read the headline. How labeling cartels terrorists could hurt the U.S. economy. Isolating U.S. companies from cartel activities could be almost impossible given that the criminal groups operate in sectors like agriculture and tourism, leaving some American businesses vulnerable to sanctions. What? Let me read an excerpt from the article. Quotes from the article. Even more complicated, these criminal networks have extended their operations far beyond drug trafficking and human smuggling. They are now embedded in a wide swath of the illegal economy, from avocado farming to the country's billion-dollar tourism industry, making it hard to be absolutely sure that American companies are isolated from cartel activities. Too bad Joe Biden didn't think to give these people a preemptive pardon because we're going after them. I'm sorry. The New York Times. This is why cartel activities are good in this country. Can you believe it? All right. What else do we have here? Again, it's too many stories for the media to focus on. Flooding the zone. Many of these executive orders, you got to remember, audience, if they were issued all by itself on a Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, they drive the news cycle for days or weeks. But instead, we got like 30 executive orders followed by like 200, whatever they're called, executive decrees. Prisoners released, DEI creatures fired from the federal government jobs. I think Dr. Rachel Levin has gone back under a bridge. The media, again, they are now in complete disarray, and some pretty important confirmation hearings are coming up. We got Kash Patel next Wednesday. Cash Me Outside. RFK Jr. is going to be coming up soon. And the media has no idea how or what to focus their energy on. They're used to being somewhat in control of the narrative and also having the bullhorn where everyone has to listen to them. Remember, though, 2-3 years ago, they lost that bullhorn when Elon Musk bought Twitter and turned it into X. And now it seems they lost Facebook a few weeks ago. So they have no social media app on their side to help hide their lies and cover up the truth by fake fact checks and banning people. People are going to start to go to social media, get their news. This is what they're afraid of, because not only are they going to lose the narrative, the bullhorn, everything, they're going to lose the money. They're going to lose the sponsorships. No one's going to be watching. So they're used to focusing on Trump and Trump alone, whether it's his court cases, the election cycle, allegation after allegation against Trump. He's a Nazi. We flipped the script. Now they have no idea how to act when the stories are flying at them by the dozens. Ryan, have you ever seen the show Band of Brothers? HBO, World War II, Normandy.
I have not, no.
Really good show. It's just 10 episodes, hour each. I suggest you watch it. I believe it's the third episode. The 101st Airborne has to take out a gun battery inland in Normandy on D-Day. Dick Winters, he's the, I think it's Captain Dick Winters. He eventually becomes a colonel or something. He was the man in charge that day, and when they approached the gun battery, the 101st Airborne, they noticed it was guarded by, I think, dozens of Germans, I think 60 Germans or more, and 3 machine gun nests. Anyway, Dick Winters constructed such an amazing plan of attack. It caused the Germans so much confusion, they actually began firing on each other. They had no idea not only where the attack was coming from, but where to focus their fire. In fact, to this day, that assault by Dick Winters is cited as a classic example of how a small unit tactics in leadership can overcome a larger enemy force. I think they were outnumbered something like 4-1 and won the battle and even took prisoners. Only difference between that and what we're seeing now is we're not outnumbered. Trump won the popular vote. And maybe the media should be wise and just raise the white flag now. In conclusion, the tactic being used, they're calling it flood the zone. Does that explain Elon Musk's my heart goes out to you? Because why else? Because it kind of looked like we said last week, it looked a little bit Nazi-ish, but he literally does. The news media focused an entire day on this.
Oh, if you take it and highlight it, of course, it's going to be a story. And, I'm seeing on social media all these people over time. I've seen a picture of a lapsed time of Kamala doing this particular hand gesture. Tim Walz. I've seen Hillary Clinton, some prominent Democrats. So, I mean, it's just the media, as you're saying, taking it and running with it. It's nothing more than, as you said, he's awkward. He's the very first thing I thought of when I saw it. I thought he is an awkward guy, but I know exactly what's going to happen now because it appears a certain way.
I'm going to buy my wife flowers, and when I get home, I'm going to say, my heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to see what happens. And I'm going to go to the mall. I'm going to try it at the mall.
Right.
No, honestly, aside from him doing this on purpose to take up time on the news and not focus on important things of substance for Trump's administration, I don't know why else Elon would do this. Do you think Elon's a Nazi? Do you think is he going to Klan meetings in secret or something?
From everything that I've seen in my life, I've experienced with seeing Elon Musk, I would say no, that he's not a Nazi.
I mean, Hitler kind of surprised me when I found out he was a Nazi, right? I mean, it would have a lot more meaning if it wasn't just used so much in the past 6 months.
Exactly.
They wasted it. That was their time to finally bring it out when he did this. That was their time.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. I think, the one of the more ironic parts of this whole thing is they were the ones, Democrats were on these college campuses and these liberals yelling to kill the Jews. I mean, they were chasing them and attacking them and locking them in certain parts of school so they wouldn't be attacked. This was actually a real thing that was happening.
There's nothing funny about saying kill the Jews, but when someone says kill the Jews and say, hey, that guy's doing a Nazi salute, get him,
right.
It kind of takes away from everything.
Right.
All right, let's go from Jews to some guy that has a Crusader tattoo on his chest, Pete Hegseth. I want to talk about him next. So Pete Hegseth has cleared the initial procedural vote, 51-49. I believe this sets up, I don't know how this works, 30 hours of post-closure debate. A confirmation is going to be scheduled for around 9 p.m. tomorrow. That's Friday. I said he would be confirmed in private text over the weekend, so that's lining up perfectly. Now, he's not technically confirmed yet. Senator Lisa Murkowski of Alaska said she's a no vote for Hegseth to lead the Pentagon. And that's because maybe a news story came out that Pete used to beat his wife now, Ryan. Can you believe this one? He used to beat his wife. Let's talk about what happened. So in short, senators received an affidavit Tuesday from the former sister-in-law of Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth, in which she says his behavior caused his second wife to fear for her safety. Samantha Deering, Hegseth's second wife, who is the alleged abused woman, said the story is wrong. In fact, so wrong where it's to the point she's involving her lawyers. Also, the sister-in-law is making... Yeah, the sister-in-law making the accusations isn't even related to either by blood. She's Pete's brother's ex-wife. So it's not like this is Pete's ex-wife's sister. This is like people that used to see each other at family functions and Christmas and Thanksgiving. The point is, though, NBC still ran this story. I'm going to repeat it again. Pete Hegseth's second wife. She said the story is wrong, so much so wrong that she's involving her lawyers. Like, they literally contacted Pete Hegseth's ex-wife. She denied it, and they still ran the story. How is that journalism? How is that journalism? These people should be sued again and fired. Hold on. Let me see if I could read the email from Pete's wife. Actually, JD Vance, our vice president, posted it on X. It says, in an email response Monday, Samantha Hegseth said, first and foremost, I have not and will not comment on my marriage to Pete Hegseth. I do not have representatives speaking on my behalf, nor have I ever asked anyone to share or speak about the details of my marriage on my behalf, whether it be a reporter, a committee member, a transition team member, etc. She added, I do not believe your information to be accurate, and I have CC'd my lawyer. When asked what information was not accurate and for comment on the affidavit, she replied on Tuesday, there was no physical abuse in my marriage. This is the only further statement I will make to you. If I have to let you know that I am not speaking and will not speak on my marriage to Pete. Please respect this decision. Again, my lawyer is CC'd. This is a last-ditch effort to stop Pete Hegseth with a fake story. I don't know why, like, they don't want him confirmed. Ryan, do you remember, you probably won't know this, do you remember who the last secretary, or the last guy that ran the Pentagon was? Joe Biden called him the black guy. He was black. His name was Lloyd Austin. Okay. He used to work for Raytheon. Now, he vanished about a year and a half ago.
Vanished
for about a week. Okay. No one knew where he was. You know, this is the guy that, had the Pentagon,
Yeah, right.
Secretary of Defense here. Turns out that he was hospitalized getting a surgery and was out. Didn't tell anyone. Nah, not a big deal. And the Pentagon watchdog found that Lloyd Austin's hospitalization unnecessarily increased risks to national security. What if I told you that Lisa Murkowski, who's a Republican and won't vote to approve Pete Hegseth, voted to approve Lloyd Austin and Alexander Mayorkas, the dude at the border, all these others, but she won't vote for Hegseth for some reason. And for the life of me, I can't figure it out why. He also had a follow-up surgery, Lloyd Austin, apparently. I hope he told someone about that.
I mean, it's odd because, in that position...
You think it'd be important, especially with our Ukraine going on, the Middle East. We had that October 3rd thing going on.
If you had something going on in your life, Joe, and you needed an operation, you needed to be away for a while, you'd certainly need to tell your employer because they need to get the job done, right?
I had to tell before my neck surgery, when a fentanyl addict hit me and I had to get my neck fused, I told my wife 6 months in advance. And I almost did not clear it then. Still, had to this guy's the secretary.
These are kind of important things.
Yeah, a little bit important. I mean, you figure, hey, that's someone. I'm going in for a surgery.
Yeah.
Heads up. Again, they ran to the FBI to find out more about Hegseth, and it backfired. Okay, 3 Republicans that are going to oppose Pete Hegseth: McConnell, Murkowski, and Collins. So he's going to get confirmed. And if it's 50-50, Fetterman, I guess, is not a yes. There was reports going on that say Fetterman was. If it's 50-50, JD Vance is the tiebreaker. So, prediction, again, Hegseth confirmed Friday over the weekend. By Monday's show, we'll report on it. That's it. We got to take a break, though. When we come back, Trump sat down with an interview with Sean Hannity, and the clips, it'll make you realize, you forget how much we missed this man, how much we missed out on the last 4 years. Stay tuned. You're listening to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM, WBVP.
It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor.
Mark Galla with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Galla of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond. It's Joe again from Thinking Logically, here to tell you about one of my favorite clothing items, the MyPillow hoodie. Two things I love the most about this hoodie are how it fits and how it feels. This hoodie is extremely roomy, and its terry cloth material makes it lighter than any other hoodie I own. Use promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings. The MyPillow hoodie. Get yours today.
Beaver County Transit Authority connects you to where you want to be. The doctor's office or well-deserved shopping spree will take you to wherever you please. Safe, no fuss, leave the driving to us. Hop on, adventures coming your way. Beaver County Transit Authority, BCTA. Ride the bus.
Midland residents, are you looking to travel to Calcutta using public transportation? BCTA Connect is live now. This service is free until March 1st, 2025. Rides can be booked using the convenient BCTA Connect app or by calling our customer service team at 724-375-2895. See how same-day, on-demand trips can help you by riding with BCTA Connect today. Visit our website at www.bcta.com/connect for more information.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM WBVP. The first segment we were talking about flooding the zone. It's too many stories for the news media to handle, and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to report on. And in my opinion, they're missing all the important stories, and Trump and his administration are moving in silence. We're now going to talk about Trump doing his first interview, I guess, as the 47th president. He sat down with Sean Hannity, who I actually can't stand. And they covered a lot of topics, how he feels about being back. What else? If he's going to meet with Governor Newsom, the wildfires, the border issue, what to do at sanctuary cities, the January 6th committee, the preemptive pardons. They covered a lot. How Biden didn't pardon himself, destroying the evidence on the January 6th committee. Again, the whole episode can be just this interview if we wanted it to. But just going to take a few. One of the things that I loved the most from the interview was when he talked about revoking John Bolton's security clearance. Ryan, the audio's from, not from Hannity, but play Trump talking about revoking John Bolton's security clearance, please.
Why did you remove John Bolton's security clearance, sir?
Because I think there was enough time. We take a job. You take a job, you want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we? I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger. He's the one that got us involved, along with Cheney and a couple of others, convinced Bush, which was a terrible decision, to blow up the Middle East. We blew up the Middle East and we left. And we got nothing out of it except a lot of death. We killed a lot of people. And John Bolton was, one of those guys, a stupid guy. But no, you can't have that for life. You shouldn't expect it.
Yeah, these people get to make money off of their security clearance, and they get to lie, too, off their security clearance, like the 51 Intel officials that lied before the presidential debate and said the Hunter Biden laptop had all the earmarks of Russian disinformation. Again, our government is so inept, though. I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Bolton, the singer, doesn't have a security clearance by accident somehow. Like this is Office Space or something. Not gonna have a security clearance anymore. So apparently John Bolton was woken up at 12:01 a.m. on January 21st by Secret Service, who told him Trump had revoked his protection detail, and that's according to Susan Crabtree. Bolton was reportedly told by agents that he would have to only have them for 12 more hours and he'd have to find his own security. I guess this afternoon, the same thing happened to Mike Pompeo. Again, though, why do these people need security clearances and the details? You made enough money working in government. Pay for the protection yourself. What else was said? He talked about oil, Saudi Arabia, which that's actually a news story too. So Saudi Crown Prince, what's his first name? Bin Salman. They call him MBS. He spoke with U.S. President Trump on the telephone, and he told Trump that the kingdom is seeking to increase its investment and trade with the United States by at least $600 billion in the next 4 years. Do you realize how many piers off the coast of Gaza that is? That's a lot if you measure it in that. That's 6 Ukraines. That's 6 Ukraines right there. That's a lot of money. And there's our short-term supply of oil maybe too, until we could ramp up production. We're getting sidetracked there, but I got to mention OPEC. Today, Trump called on OPEC and Saudi Arabia to lower the cost of oil, and just like that, the oil prices dropped off a cliff, literally like 6 or 7 hours ago. How does this guy do this? I don't know. The art of the deal, maybe? Again, I don't know. He talked about Joe Biden's letter, and I think he actually might have read it. Ryan, you might not know that. It's tradition where every incoming or outgoing president leaves his successor a letter and puts it in, I guess, the drawer of the desk there. Do you think Joe Biden could have really wrote a letter? Or he can't even draw a clock like they have the Alzheimer's patient do on a piece of paper. Do you really think like you probably didn't read it at all or see it?
I didn't know.
Do you think that Joe Biden could actually construct a letter?
It seems like it would be difficult.
Do you think, honestly, I don't know if I can. Handwriting, everything.
Right.
I mean, it's not like an easy thing, especially for someone of that age with a shaky hand. All right, at what point we're going to have to move to the border and illegals. Trump was talking about the illegals too. Please play the audio from Hannity when he was talking about how he can tell if an illegal is good or not based on their looks.
Open borders with people pouring in, some of whom, I won't get into it, but you can look at them and you can say, could be trouble, could be trouble.
You can look at them and say, could be trouble, could be trouble. Don't you miss this? Don't you miss this so much, this talk? No, Joe Biden would never talk like this. Mitt Romney would never talk like this. 99.9% of people in public wouldn't, but Trump does it. And Ryan, is he wrong? Is he wrong?
I don't know.
Sometimes you could just look at someone and say, that's a bad hombre. That's a bad hombre. This is a great transition, though, to some other border stories.
Right.
An Afghan refugee tracks down an immigration caseworker at his Michigan home and then stabs him repeatedly. That's a report from, I don't know who it's from, but that's the news. So why even call him a refugee in the headline? How about this headline, Ryan? I'll redo it. Violent Afghani invader tracks down and murders caseworker. Is that better? That's better, right? Than an Afghan refugee tracks down immigration caseworker at Michigan home, stabs him repeatedly. He murdered him. Remember the U.S. border agent that was killed in Vermont Monday, audience? According to his family, he was a military veteran who worked security duty at the Pentagon during the 9/11 attacks. And 20 years later, after serving the country, he's killed by an illegal in Vermont, of all places. Since it's so close to the Canadian border, it makes me wonder, was this an person from the Middle East area, a terrorist, as opposed to someone here to find a job or asylum? Just asking. What are some stories about the border and illegals? Ryan, you'll love this one. Remember Joe Burrow? You know who Joe Burrow is?
Absolutely.
Remember when his house got robbed in 2024?
You know what? I saw this earlier.
What if I told, well, you spoiled it now. What if I told you that it was aliens that did it?
It was aliens.
Illegal aliens. It was illegal aliens. 4 illegal aliens have been arrested in connection with the home burglary of NFL star Joe Burrow. Now, is he really a star, Ryan, after missing the playoffs this year? And
I think he's still a star. But were they Chilean or? It did indicate somewhere in the article.
If they're Chilean, do you know how long the country of Chile is?
Yeah, right.
If they're Chilean and they walked all the way up here through the Damien Gap or whatever it's called, through Central America, through Mexico, that's impressive. Let them stay, I guess, after that. And made it to Cincinnati? Google Chile to Cincinnati. Like Chile is next to Antarctica. Like that's where you depart to Antarctica from like Chile and Argentina.
This is the headline. This was actually from our WTAE. 4 Chilean burglary suspects arrested, possibly tied to break-in at Joe Burrow's home.
Look, again, if you want asylum in the United States, go to a U.S. port of entry and apply for it, just like non-criminals do. You have zero right to cross through how many other nations and then show up and demand asylum and free stuff from American taxpayers. If they aren't from Mexico, they need to seek asylum in Mexico, not America. But CBS won't talk about that because they're a news organization. They're not a news organization. I'm sorry, they're not. They're a propaganda tool. What else here? Haitian arrested. Oh, I can't even say these words. Did you see this? The Haitian that was arrested and was saying, blank Trump, Biden forever, as he got arrested by an elite Boston unit. You're going home, sir. Newsflash. You're going home. Biden cannot help you now. The arrest was part of the Boston raid on the worst of the worst criminal illegal aliens, as reported by Bill Malugin. It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day. Tom Homan says this is just the beginning. Good. Let's go over some numbers here. 308 illegals were arrested on Trump's first day in office. That might seem like a small. You got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
you got to start somewhere. But let's crunch the numbers. In order to break even, we're talking just breaking even on immigration over the last 4 years, and talking illegal immigration. Donald Trump has to deport, brace for impact, audience, brace for impact, over 10,000 illegal immigrants a day, every day, for the next 4 years. Again, that's every day, over 10K. That should be the new slogan, 10K a day. 10K a day. Find me 10K more illegals. 10K, like Trump, when he said on the phone with the Georgia governor, find me 10,000 more votes. Remember they made a big, find me 10,000 more illegals to deport. I don't care if you got to bring them in and send them right back. You got to remember, they're going to be harder to find once there's only a few 100,000 of them left. The first 2 or 3 million are going to go like that, but it's going to be a long, drawn-out process. Ryan, did you see what happened at the Tuesday National Prayer Service or whatever that J.D. Vance and Trump announced? So Bishop Marianne, I think it's Budd, B-U-D-D-E, she used her, what do they call it, sermon. Have you been to church recently, Ryan?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so she used her sermon to shame President Trump, and I believe J.D. Vance, who was sitting next to him as well, into not deporting illegal aliens and also not to harm the gays or the trans, which I had no idea we were out to harm gays or trans.
I don't know, me neither.
Again, if Donald Trump really was a dictator, wouldn't he have just had Secret Service arrest her on the spot while everyone in attendance was forced to just clap like this or be executed? That's what I thought I'd see happen. But no, she got to stand up there and finish her sermon. Ryan, can a woman even be a bishop?
I don't know about that. I'm not.
This is what I wish we had Mark here to verify this.
Yeah, Mark would be on
He's
this.
the expert on religion here. Now, I don't care that she said what she said. It's her church. It's her sermon, whatever. But she shouldn't be spared from the scrutiny. That's all I'm saying for saying what she said. She's a liberal hack, and the deeper you look into her history, and her family, the more what she said on Tuesday makes absolute perfect sense. What if I told you that Bishop Budd's son works for the former head of Barack Obama's campaign team in Chicago? Maybe it's his tech team. I don't know. And that he contributes to Soros's swing left pack. What are the odds? The funniest part about the whole thing with this bishop, within 24 hours of her giving the sermon that was all over the news media and everything, it was pro-trans, pro-legal immigration. She got invited on The View. You can write these jokes. All right, Ryan. So a Muslim terrorist, an illegal alien, and an LGBTQ plus female priest walk into The View. Walk into a bar and just okay. I don't have
walk
a
into The View.
The account Maysmore and X, they literally predicted the future. They called this on Tuesday morning after they heard her sermon. Let me read the tweet here. In June 2020, this is from Maysmore and X. In June 2020, rioters in D.C. had just set fire to her church, a church she oversees, and Bishop Marianne Budd goes on PBS to blame Trump for inciting the violence. She's a woke lunatic who belongs on The View, not in a church. And sure enough, they had her on The View. I guess while on The View, she told Joy Behar that her moralizing lecture in support of open borders and listen, this lecture was about genital mutilation of children and illegal aliens coming in this country. It wasn't a call for, what would she say? It's a call for unity. Honestly, she might be getting a W-2 from The View after this. It's just absolutely ridiculous. All right, where we got time was? Yeah, we got to move to a break here. We got to take a break. When we return, January 6th prisoner who was turned in by his son is released. What do you think that dinner when his father gets home is going to be like? Stay tuned. We'll talk about it when we come back. Thinking Logic here at 99.3 FM, WBVP. It's Joe again from Thinking Logically, here to tell you about one of my favorite clothing items, the MyPillow hoodie. Two things I love the most about this hoodie are how it fits and how it feels. This hoodie is extremely roomy, and its terry cloth material makes it lighter than any other hoodie I own. Use promo code LOGIC to maximize your savings. The MyPillow hoodie. Get yours today. It's Joe Corsi here from Thinking Logically to tell you about Beaver County's #1 realtor, Mark Gullah with RE/MAX Select Realty. With over 10 years experience, Mark knows all the ins and outs of the real estate business, so whether you're looking to rent, buy, sell, or swap your house, you can rely on Mark to take the hassle out. Mark Gullah of RE/MAX Select Realty, going above and beyond.
Sometimes the holidays can last a little too long, but usually it's no big deal if you discover a leftover fruitcake in your refrigerator, even if it's after Memorial Day. You just toss it out and move on with life. This is Pat Travail from Freedom United Federal Credit Union. On the other hand, high interest charges from store credit cards can really start to stink too. The fact is, if you don't deal with it now, you might still have some of this year's Christmas rotting away in your budget, like a cookie tray that's been left uncovered far into the next year. With approved credit, you can transfer your existing balances to our low fixed-rate Visa card now and put freedom in your future. Don't let the holidays linger. Throw the high-rate credit cards out with the eggnog that's gone bad. Visit Freedom United Federal Credit Union, member NCUA, equal housing lender.
Your success is our success. We belong to you.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM WBVP. Live here with Joe Corsi. I am a family man. Ryan, are you a family man?
I am.
Okay. I got a kid. I know you have kids.
Yes, sir.
What if one of your kids ratted you out to the federal government? Can you imagine? I mean, for what? You're not, obviously,
right.
You didn't raid the Capitol or do anything crazy. But this story is absolutely amazing. So a January 6th prisoner who was turned in by his son has been obviously finally released, and thanks to the Trump pardon. But the son decided to go on CNN to cry about it. His father being released from prison, and he goes on CNN to cry about it.
That would be awkward at dinner time, huh?
I haven't even thought of some of these jokes. I just forgot free for this. Let me read. Jackson Reffitt, R-E-F-F-I-T-T, who reported his father to the FBI, says, this is him talking to CNN, I've taken as many precautions as I could recently. I've picked up a gun, I've moved, and I've gotten myself away from what I thought would be a dangerous situation and am staying where I thought my dad couldn't find me or other people. My father's actions coming from the Trump presidency and what he thought he was doing was right. Just destroyed my family. I made a very, very disgusting decision to inform authorities about what he was doing, and I still feel horrible about it every day. My sisters are out there right now, and they're rooting for him. I understand that. I come from a place of love towards them. I want to be there for them, but I can't. It just isn't safe for people like me who have done what I did to protect my family. I cannot feel safe around my father. Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong. He's just afraid of going home and getting his ass beat with a belt.
That's what that sounded like to me.
Okay, so you look at the picture of the kid that's posted. There's a family photo, and I think Jack Posobiec put it on X. Ryan, just so you can see it, can you figure out which one ratted his father out?
You know what? It's hard to see, but I'm going to guess the guy right in the middle.
And what is he wearing that makes you think
the mask?
Okay, so he's a lib wearing a mask, and he's out. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're outside, right? Yep, they're outside. He's wearing a mask outside. Just like with COVID, these are the kind of people that ratted us out to our neighbors when we didn't rat.
I know.
I don't want to call it Nazism because he's obviously not a Nazi. He's probably on the other side of the spectrum. So, but this is how it goes with communist societies. The person turns you in sometimes because they're a neighbor or might even come from the same house you live in. I can't. He went on CNN to tell everyone what he did as if he was going to be some hero. I hope the family can heal and forgive after this because that's the most important thing. I just get the subtle feeling that I don't know. He just felt so good about himself for doing what he did and felt this, I don't know, moral triumph. And now he's going to get beat by his father when he gets home. Hey, my man, how you doing? All right, I think we have a caller. If so, Ryan, send him over, Ryan. We have a caller?
Yes, Dawn.
Dawn, where you been? I thought you got picked up in one of them ice raids.
You know, well, listen, if the other team would have won, I probably wouldn't be here, and I'm half joking. Hey, when I heard about that fine young man ratting out his father, you know, when I was a little boy, my brother went around the house. He's about 3 years younger than me. I don't know. And he was cracking everybody up. I think it was Jimmy Cagney. He said, "You dirty rat, you killed my brother." Do you remember that line in a movie?
What's it from? What movie?
I don't know, Jimmy Cagney. But anyway, a little boy was running around the house, cracking everyone up, saying over and over, "You rat, you dirty rat, you killed my brother." Now, I went to a rural community grade school. If I would have ratted my dad out in 5th grade, how many times do you think those farmers' kids would have beat me up? If you were on a game show, within the first 2 weeks, how many butt whippings would I have taken to win $1 trillion?
You're right. Now, hey, you have a kid. Do you ever fear that your son might rat you out for the wrong political ideology?
Let me tell you something. Now, he has an advantage over me. I'm a little bit jumpy, and I was hyperactive as a kid. He's like his mother. He's calm as a cucumber, so that gives him an advantage in the interview room. I have as much faith as him. I have a lot of faith in that 39-year-old man to not do anything. Plus, he's too smart to do that. Remember, when they have you in the interview room, first of all, why don't you have a lawyer beside you? The taxpayer's got to pay for it. And if they can give $3,000 a month to illegal aliens, they can darn sure get me an attorney out of bed. He's just too smart. They'd have to start breaking fingers and stuff, and even then, maybe not. No, we raised him right. And that's what I was thinking. We've got to start at the ground level. And speaking of leveling something, the first thing we have to level is the Department of Education, correct?
Yeah, because that's who taught him to indoctrinate him, I guess, instead of teach. We should use indoctrinate.
You know, how is he sitting down at your table anyway?
Yeah, well, hey, how about this? You're talking about the Department of, you know, who better to dismantle the Department of Education than someone that used to run the WWF with her husband? It could be fun watching this happen.
You know what? Now that I'm 65, there's a lot more of them than there were when I was young. There weren't that many then because men are bigger and stronger, and they've been hit harder. That's what people forget. Most men have been hit. But there is something appealing about a woman that can kick your butt, isn't there?
There is. There definitely is.
There is. Hey, you guys have a good day.
Thank you, Don. You have a great day too.
Take care.
All right. Let's do one more story before a commercial break. Karine Jean-Pierre. Remember her, Ryan? She was the press secretary under Joe Biden.
Of course.
She reflected on her time as press secretary, and I'm going to get pretty vulgar because this actually made me angry. Karine Jean-Pierre has told Vanity Fair that she had to work harder in the White House as press secretary because she is a black queer immigrant. I'm the first black press secretary, she said. I'm the first person of color as a press secretary. The first openly queer press secretary. The first Haitian American immigrant press secretary. The first secretary to be all of the above. Being a first meant that my responsibilities were beyond those in the job description. The load heavier. I bear a certain responsibility to the communities I represent. What? First of all, Ryan, if there's one thing I can't stand, it's people that use queer instead of gay. And I'm being serious.
Right.
I can't stand that, using queer instead of gay. But newsflash, Karine Jean-Pierre didn't have to work harder because she was a black gay immigrant from Haiti. She had to work harder because she's retarded. Look, yes, she was gay. Yes, she was gay, but she was also retarded. Yes, she was black. But the problem was she was black and retarded. You don't even see that many people that are black and retarded. That's mostly a white thing, isn't it, Ryan?
I don't know.
It's mostly a white. I guarantee you, if you did the percentages, it's mostly a white thing. Off the top of my head, the Asian guy from Platoon that was the retard. Do you know who I'm talking about? Or gay people, for that matter. Most queers are intellectuals. I hate using that word. Most gays are intellectuals, Ryan. Not Karine Jean-Pierre. She is not. She is 1,000% not an intellectual. She is mentally deficient. Look, I get it. The audience is probably, I know we're not supposed to use certain R words like retard or redskins, but Karine Jean-Pierre just isn't smart. She probably has an IQ of 79. It's Forrest Gump style. Forrest Gump. I think he might have been 81 or 79, somewhere close. Anyway, what job can she perform now? Would you hire her for a position at your business? Would you let her talk to the press on behalf of your company? Fry Transportation, hire Karine Jean-Pierre. Anyone, any sponsor, please hire her. Why not? Did I go too hard with the R words? Maybe a little bit. I just have to reinforce. She's, by definition, I think she is. I just don't think, again. Anyway, someone that's a minority that isn't retarded, like Karine Jean-Pierre, Kash Patel, his confirmation hearing is scheduled for January 29th. Watch it. Watch it on TV. See how he does. It'll be worth your time, I promise. All right. We're just going to take a break because this next story, we got to separate between the first black press secretary by at least a commercial break, at least 30 seconds of commercial. So when we come back, we're going to cover the KKK cruise. That's a thing. Stay tuned. Listen to Thinking Logically on 99.3 FM WBVP.
Listen to WBVP and 99.3 FM each Monday through Friday for the obituaries presented by Beaver Cemetery. Announcements will be made at 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. The obituaries will announce the loss of our loved ones to the community, along with other important related information. The obituaries every Monday through Friday on WBVP and 99.3 FM at 12:30 and 1:30 p.m. Visit beavercountyradio.com for more information. Brought to you by the Beaver Cemetery.
Tri-State Sporting Arms on Main Street in New Brighton is now open. Stop in and explore their extensive selection of high-quality firearms, pistols, and accessories. Tri-State Sporting Arms also pays top dollar for used firearms. Their experienced and highly trained staff is here to assist you in selecting the right firearm for you. Stop on down to Beaver County's newest firearm store, Tri-State Sporting Arms, at 807 3rd Avenue, New Brighton, or check them out on Facebook.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
Welcome back to Thinking Logically here on 99.3 FM WBVP. I don't even know how to start with these stories, Ryan. I don't know what to do. All right. The next story is going to sound a little weird, but it's a real story. It's just, you talk about what Elon Musk did. Did he really do the Nazi salute? And then maybe he just was a little bit misinformed or didn't know or is awkward in public. And then you have this. the KKK cruise. So, a cruise line had its staff dressed up for a Christmas costume party. That's upside down snow cones. Ryan, just show the picture. If you see the picture, then you know why I'm laughing. I'm sorry. It's just, they look exactly like the KKK. And while they're getting dressed, I'm just thinking, how could they not have like all saw each other getting dressed? And some of them just says, guys, wait a minute. Hold on.
That's wild.
It looks like it's the actual KKK uniforms that they're cleaning in. I think they said they're cleaning. They're the cleaning outfits or something, and then with hoods on the top.
And why did they do that with the hood?
It was some kind of Christmas costume party. I don't know how long ago this happened, but they iced upside down snow cones.
Wow.
They also burned a cross, but claimed it was a giant T for time for snow cones.
Shut up. Wow.
See, the more I look at this story, the more I'll just laugh. I'll go into a laughing fit, out of control.
Where was this, Joe?
The P&O Cruises in Australia. I think travelers on a P&O cruise in Australia were horrified to see staff walking around with white hoods on. I think they just came out like no warning or everything.
Here comes that cleaning crew
Listen
again,
to the
guys.
excuse. They've got to make do with what they've got, and they were wearing their cleaning uniforms, and they put something on their head that looks like a snow cone, an upside down snow cone.
Wow.
They look like the KKK from like 30s movies, like Boardwalk Empire when you see the KKK. I guess they're Australia, so maybe they don't know what the KKK is.
That was the only thing that I was thinking that could make this, not insane.
I didn't know what the KKK. That'll work as an excuse from. I didn't know what the KKK was. Sorry, I have this white hood on.
Right. I can't understand because look at it. I mean, for one to dress like that, in its entirety. Look at like around their eyes, Joe. It's like they have.
You can't see the video. In the video, the one guy does go like this, but he's waving. Honest to God, I swear to God, he's waving. I should embellish it, but he literally goes like.
But like, what is the thought process when they put them like them on their head?
I don't know. And they were getting changed. They should have known then.
And what benefit is that? You know what I mean? Like what?
Like who's going to cheer for the upside down snow cones, burning crosses, and I don't know.
Weird.
Okay, we're not gonna do anything. We're not gonna make any more comments about this. Okay, let's move on. Move on. Okay, so Trump spoke to the I'm in WWF mode. The World Economic Forum in Davos via FaceTime to tell them he has frozen foreign aid, he's ending the climate change policies, and withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord. Oh, and the Green New Deal is over. Ryan, do you know who the World Economic Forum is? Klaus Schwab, all them people?
Yeah, I know they are.
Why are they like the Legion of Doom from Super Friends? Why do they do this thing in Davos every year around this time?
You're
and it's
right.
like a private thing. Klaus Schwab, though, he's definitely got villain vibes, right? Like whether it's Marvel or Bond villain. Maybe he's more Bond villain. No, Mr. Trump, I expect you to die. No, Ryan, I expect you to eat the bugs.
Or like they remember what was it, Inspector Gadget, the guy that you'd always see his hand claw.
Yeah.
Kind of puts you in mind of that.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Zelensky, I think he was maybe in Davos too. He said he wants American troops in Ukraine. Well, sorry, Mrs. Zelensky, we need them on our border. The cartels are killing us with fentanyl, and we have terrorists on our borders. Asked Trump. How much time we have left? About 7 minutes. Yeah, we got a little bit of time. Ratcliffe, he was confirmed as CIA director, 74 to 25. Pretty good numbers. Did you see all the storms in the South, Ryan? All the snow.
Wow, it's unbelievable.
You know, the one thing I took away from that, Florida was more prepared for the 10 inches of snow that it hasn't gotten probably since a meteor hit during the Jurassic period than Cali did with wildfires that they get every week or month. They were even able to protect the gators from the cold in Florida.
Yeah.
No gators died, I don't think.
Wow. That's saying a lot.
It is. I'm making the gator thing up. They could have died, but they're cold-blooded. I'm sure they would just freeze and be okay.
Right. Not sure.
DEI, Ryan. Thoughts on DEI? It's over, so
That's the only thing I really know. It's over.
As of 5 p.m. Wednesday, all DEI federal government staff was put on leave, and they will eventually be laid off. Now some people try to switch their titles in the last week or two. So I'm like the DEI officer of the Coast Guard. I'm gonna Robert De Niro whenever he's the food and beverage.
Yeah, right.
Just change your job to the
Right.
food and beverage. Yeah, that's what they were doing. Some of them got caught. I had a story, but I must have not put it on here. I don't know this. This happened before I really started following politics. But Silk Road founder Ross Ulbricht walks out of prison after being pardoned by President Trump. He had that the Silk Road website. It was supposedly like a dark web thing. I think they threw the book at him. I don't know anything about the case, so I really can't comment. Philly prosecutor. These are just headlines I'm reading. He wants to charge January 6 partners with state crimes now. And my response, please do. Yes, go do it. So now we can charge the Biden family and Dr. Fauci with state charges next. Please make that move. Yesterday, Wednesday, we were teased that the JFK files were hours from being released. Turns out that wasn't entirely true. Trump did it today. So President Trump declassified, files related to the assassination of JFK, RFK, and Martin Luther King Jr., saying everything will be revealed as he was signing. Good. I'm tired of never getting the truth for anything. I wrote some things down here. Let me just name a few things that we never really got answers to, Ryan. Let's see. Hunter Biden's laptop, the nursing home murders from COVID, train derailments, whatever happened with that. Remember all those food processing plants that were catching fire? 2,000 mules, don't know what happened with that. Podesta's emails, Hillary's emails, monkeypox. What happened with monkeypox? Remember all the chickens that weren't laying eggs? Remember the spy balloons, Seth Rich, Nord Stream pipeline, 9/11, Ashley Biden's diary, Comet Ping Pong Pizza I have on here, election fraud, Malaysian flight, whatever it was, 3070, Russia collusion hoax, P. Diddy freak-offs, the January 6th Fedsurrection, the pipe bombs, Maui fires, 2017 Las Vegas mass shooting, sudden death syndrome, what's it called? Go on and on. We never get any answers to any of these, Ryan. Do you think we ever will?
You know what? With the current administration in, I tell people, you know what? At least Trump is transparent, and he talks, he tells us things, and of course, if you sat around and waited for Joe Biden to tell us what was going on in this country over the past 4 years, you would still be waiting. This is one thing that I do totally respect about Trump and his administration. They're transparent.
And I will say this: Joe Biden claimed that he was going to be the most. I think Barack Obama said it too. The most transparent presidency in the history of our nation.
Biden was like the complete opposite.
He was transparent where you could see through him. All right. Someone sent this to me. Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison promoting the mRNA cancer vaccines, and then Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Larry Ellison were going at it. Elon Musk was attacking Sam Altman for his $500 billion Stargate proposal after Trump met with him. Elon said that he didn't have $500 billion. I just want to remind our audience about Sam Altman. Tucker Carlson, less than a week ago, he did a show on Sakir Balaji, Balaji. He was a Prodigy ex-employee of Sam Altman. Now, this guy seemed to have been murdered for attempting to blow the whistle on OpenAI for using copyright data. Now, all of a sudden, Trump puts Sam Altman, who again was this guy's mentor or whatever, front and center as they announced the formation of Stargate. And now we're talking mRNA vaccines. What's happening here? And just again, Ryan, you know how I don't believe that Mark Zuckerberg created Facebook.
Correct.
I think it was just given to him by DARPA. Mm-hmm. That explains everything. Is something else here are we being exposed to this too? Now, I looked it up. There were two Stargate projects. The one with Sam Altman, Larry Ellis, and another guy. And there was a secret U.S. Army program established in 1977, remember the date, to investigate psychic phenomenon, particularly remote viewing, for military and intelligence purposes. It was terminated in 1995 after a CIA report concluded that it was not useful for intelligence operations. Only problem is Stargate and Oracle both have their 1977 beginnings at the same year. I just smell another DARPA, Facebook, Zuckerberg thing. Maybe I'm crazy, but just something to pin in the back of your mind. Wow, today went pretty quick, Ryan. We're out of time.
It sure did.
We were really embarrassed about the about Notre Dame. I've been terrible for football.
Yeah, I feel bad. I mean, that was Mark's team. And you know what? I kind of went with them because Mark liked them. I didn't really have a horse in the race, so to speak. I'm a Pitt guy. My team wasn't in there. So I kind of went with the Notre Dame thing because Mark, that's who he picked, and it didn't end up going so well.
Okay. Well, we're finally warmed up from the cold, I think. Maybe we can snow next week. We'll be back on Monday, 5 to 6 p.m. More news. Like I said, it could be a completely different world by then. Continue to flood the zone. The media has no idea what they are doing or what to report on. Keep it that way. Until then, I will see you Monday. This is Joe Corsai signing off on Beaver County Radio from Thinking Logic on 99.3 FM, WBVP.
The views and opinions expressed on WBVP and WMBA are those of the participants and host. They are not necessarily the viewpoint of WBVP and WMBA, its staff, management, and advertisers. Thank you for listening to WBVP and WMBA.
You're listening to 99.3 FM. Present